Hello everybody. Today we're going to be modeling a teacup. Let's start. So we're starting to do a cube, and we're gonna start with a cylinder or a circle. Either one works for you, but I prefer to work with a circle. Now, since we all know what a teacup looks like, I'll draw it up for you. A teacup looks like a half sphere with a little handle at the end. And this is the shape we're going to do. Actually, let's start with a perfect circle, because that's sufficient. Let me show you an example. In the UV sphere, you see these, they're called endpoles. Basically at the back. When you subdivide them, they're going to look like this. They're going to look creased, and that's not what you want. This is why we start with a cube, a subdivision modifier. Around 1 spot. I'm going to start with this anyway. And this is what we get. We get a nice smooth surface that, if we were to subdivide further, will not give us any more creases. And that's what we want. And so that's our half sphere. We all know a teacup is a little bit rounded at the bottom. It's a bit squished. So it doesn't roll away when you do anything with it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go into edit mode by pressing tab. We're going to press I, insert, and then we're going to do this, and we'll move it down a bit, giving us a nice flat surface to work with. There. Now, if you have loop tools installed, the add-in right here, you can very easily just press relax and make it Alt, and you can very easily press like this one button to make it relax. So circle. But in case you don't, in the event you don't, you can one workaround I found is just simply scale it down until this remotely like a circle. By adding solidify, we can make the cup have some substance and some thickness. We can adjust this with this value here in meters. Now, we're not really making our cup up to scale, so you don't need to worry about it. What you will notice is this. We have little ugly little shading error. We can fix this by adding more definition to the edges. So we added it by pressing Control R, and this little GUI, this little symbol pop up, and then you choose where it goes. You can use scroll wheel to change the definition, the amount of loop cuts. But let's just stick with 2, and then you left click to confirm. And what it's going to do is going to make a little loop cut here, and you can press G and Z to move it up on the Z-axis, like so. And there we go. We have a little loop. A little lip. You can also add a little indent here, like so. Because I'm pretty sure most teacups do that. I don't know. I don't use teacups. I use mugs. This should be close enough, like so. Make it look there. So now we have the shape of the cup, and also. You notice how sometimes you can go into matcap for this, changing to a reflective one. You can notice that there are some distortions around where the edges of the cube are. You see how it pinches in. We do not want that. We want it to be a smooth surface, so we can remedy this by scaling it inwards so slightly, or ever so slightly, by around 0.9 should work. And you now see that there is minimal distortion in that area. So what that means is this is a perfectly smooth surface, which is what we want, which is what we like. Now that we have applied the thickness, we can turn off this one out and see the rough shape of it. We want to be able to add a handle, because you can't really have a teacup without having, it's going to be moving in not the direction you want, because currently it's moving in normal direction. It's moving to face normal. Imagine the normal as a little arrow. This will be the normal of this face, and this will be the normal of this face. Those are the normals, but this is not what we want. We want them. Instead, what we want is to move in this direction, perfectly perpendicular to the y-axis. And we can achieve this by pressing E and then Y, so it extrudes in the y-axis. And we want to keep it perfectly level, so we press S, which is scale, on the y-axis by pressing Y, and typing the number. In this case, it's 0, so they're all level on the y-axis. And with this, we can also just simply extrude, pressing R. Now, just keep repeating this until you get a circle. And you'll select here, you'll select these two faces, and Control E, and then select Bridge Edge Loops. What this is going to do is going to form a perfect bridge, connects these two together. And there we have it. There we go. There we have it. That's a little teacup. You can modify it a bit, tweak it a bit, make it a little beautified a bit, shape, something we want. And there we go. That is our teacup where you proceed to insert it this way. And then you press I, insert. That's a little fucking dimple. You can press Control R to add more definition and to add a bit more curvature. And you also want to add another look cut here to add more definition to the part. That's not really one, by the way. It's up to you, but I prefer it this way. And prefer the MR definition to the handle to the connector. Materials, you can go with a simple glass shader, like so. By going into the materials profile, adding this, add a new material, click a new material, click Principled BSDF on the surface, and then simply pick glass shader, Z and 8, or moving your mouse around. You can go into material preview for a better look at the material, and here we can see the glass isn't very glossy because we have to rough this down. So make the glass glossy and smooth by turning it down to around let's say 0.03. That seems good. Glass has a very specific refractive index. I don't remember exactly what, but it's somewhere around 1.7 because glass refracts differently. I can make a simple scene. And you will notice that nothing's really fucking happening. This is because you're an Eevee or quick render. If you want ray tracing, you need to go into cycles. So let's go ahead and do that. And now you'll see our glass is looking, well, like glass. That's pretty cool, huh? But wait, there's more. What if you wanted to add liquid? Amazing. You want to add liquid. Very simple. You go into edit mode, and then you hide the modifier by pressing this, which is allowing the modifier to be seen in edit mode. We're going to disable that for now, and we're going to select a layer. Now you select the face, you go into faceless mode by these things on the top. I will explain earlier in the video. Now that you have selected the faces, we can go ahead and press Shift D to copy and right click to snap it back to its original location. And then we press P to separate it by selection. This will be the liquid of our glass. And in liquid, you will notice that a little bit of the water will cling to the glass due to surface tension, and we want to replicate that. So we just ever so slightly move it up a bit. Around this is fine. If we unhide everything by pressing Alt H, and then we go into materials and make a new material let's call this one liquid. I don't really care about modeling the liquid as of right now. So I'll just add a little red to it, and that's our liquid. Now let's say you want it to be a bit different. Let's say you want it to be a bit crazy. We want the liquid to glow like radioactive waste. Let's say you're drinking radioactive waste for breakfast, along with your toast and beans and egg. We're going to go into emission. We're going to add a green tint to the emission, like so. And there we go. You are now drinking radioactive waste. In fact, I'll mess around myself. In fact, I'm going to mess around myself. Now, let's say, for example, this is our liquid. I want it to be blue. I want a blue liquid. Now let's see how that looks. Looks great. And I also want it to glow. So by having it glow, let's say the surface around you, it's not glowing very much. I'll fix that in just 1 second. There we go. So now it's glowing. Have a nice sip of radioactive waste, and I'll see you next time for more stupid ass tutorials. Yeah, that's it.